The moment you step onto the quiet plains of Mountain Meadows, there's an unsettling heaviness in the air, as if the land itself is holding its breath. People say that when dusk settles, the wind changes, its whistle turns into a trembling whisper, carrying voices that shouldn't exist anymore. Travelers have described the terrifying sensation of someone walking right behind them, matching their steps perfectly, even when the meadow is completely empty. Others claim that a cold hand brushes their arm, or a shadow stretches toward them from a direction where no light exists. This place does not just feel haunted, it feels aware, like it recognizes you the moment you enter. And from that moment onward, you are never truly alone. Mountain Meadows hides a lingering presence born from betrayal and bloodshed, an entity created from the unending grief of those who perished here. Some call it a curse, others a restless soul, but the locals whisper a name with fear-tightened lips, the Vindicta. They believe it is vengeance given shape, feeding on guilt and curiosity, quietly watching anyone who disturbs the silence of the land. And once it marks you, it follows first with whispers, then with shadows, and finally with a suffocating closeness that makes you wish you had never stepped foot in Mountain Meadows at all. As the night deepens over Mountain Meadows, the land transforms into an open wound of forgotten cries and unfinished agony. The first signs of the Vindicta come subtly: a flicker of movement in the tall grass, the sudden drop in temperature, the eerie sensation that the ground itself is pulsing beneath your feet like a dying heartbeat. A lone traveler named Aaron, drawn by the unsettling stories surrounding the meadow, sets up his camera near the old wagon ruts that still scar the earth. He thinks he's chasing a legend, unaware that the land has already taken notice of him. As he walks across the open field, the wind begins to howl unnaturally, bending the grass in one direction, as though something unseen is gliding through it. Aaron hears what sounds like distant crying, and when he lifts his flashlight, the beam catches several silhouettes standing unnaturally still at the far end of the meadow. Their forms are blurry, as if made of smoke and sorrow, yet he can see their hollow eyes reflecting light back at him. He approaches cautiously, but each step he takes seems to pull him deeper into a memory that isn't his. Suddenly, the silhouettes vanish, replaced by the echo of frantic footsteps and muffled screams surrounding him, as if the meadow is forcing him to relive the final moments of those who died here. His breaths grow sharp as he feels a cold hand grip his ankle, and when he looks down, the earth is shifting. Pale fingers push upward from beneath the soil, grasping for him with desperate strength. Aaron stumbles back, heart racing, but the ground continues to pulse, cracking open with each step he takes. The Vindicta manifests behind him, a towering figure wrapped in tattered shadows, its form constantly shifting like smoke struggling to take shape. Its face is an expressionless void, but the sound it emits is filled with rage and sorrow, low, trembling wail that rattles Aaron's bones. The entity moves without walking, gliding toward him with an unnatural smoothness. Every breath Aaron exhales becomes visible, turning into thin trails of mist that the Vindicta inhales, as if feeding on his growing fear. The voices of the past rise around him: pleas, apologies, accusations swirling in a vicious storm. Aaron turns to run, but the meadow stretches endlessly, the landscape twisting itself into a nightmarish maze. Shadows become walls, grass becomes hands, and the moon above dims until only the faint glow of his flashlight cuts through the suffocating darkness. The Vindicta's presence grows closer, so close Aaron feels its cold breath on the back of his neck, each exhale heavy with the bitterness of vengeance. He trips over a rusted piece of an old wagon, falling hard as his camera skids across the ground. The meadow is deathly silent for a moment. Then, a whisper echoes directly inside his skull. Do you understand now? The Vindicta's shadow envelops him, pressing down with the weight of decades-old wrath. Aaron gasps as the voices crescendo, forcing him to witness every betrayal, every final scream, every unjust death tied to the land. In that overwhelming flood of pain, he realizes the horrifying truth. The Vindicta doesn't he simply haunt the meadow, it judges anyone who enters, binding them to the sorrow buried beneath its soil. And once it decides you've seen enough, it drags you into its darkness, making you a part of the meadow's endless cycle of vengeance. Aaron's flashlight flickers out, his scream swallowed by the wind, and the meadow returns to silence, as though nothing happened except for the faint outline of a new shadow now standing among the others. Watching, waiting, ready to join the Vindicta in reclaiming the grief the land refuses to forget. When dawn finally breaks over Mountain Meadows, the sunlight feels weak, unable to penetrate the weight of what lingers there. The grass sways calmly again, as if the night's horrors were nothing more than a forgotten dream, yet the meadow holds a new stillness and extra layer of silence that wasn't there before. Aaron is nowhere to be found, his camera left abandoned in the dirt, its screen frozen on the distorted image of a shadow standing behind him moments before it all went dark. Travelers will pass through in the coming days, some sensing that something is wrong without understanding why, others dismissing the uneasy chill that crawls down their spine. But the meadow knows, the shadows know, the Vindicta knows. It has taken its due, feeding on the fear, guilt, and curiosity of yet another soul bold enough to disturb the land's buried sorrow. And as long as people continue to wander those fields, searching for answers or chasing stories, the Vindicta will continue to rise with the night, reclaiming the anguish it believes was never avenged. Some places do not forget, and Mountain Meadows is one of them, a land where the past walks beside the living and vengeance breathes just beneath the soil. So if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of that quiet plain, listening to the wind whisper through the grass, remember, the Vindicta is always watching, always waiting, and it never allows the living to leave without taking something from them in return.